Okie dokie. My sister made up having a twin to her spouse and in-laws. Can you imagine if there was two of me? I don't know if the world could handle that much sass. My toxic traits is that when I hear the word twins, all I think of immediately is Mary-Kate and Ashley. So where are my Mary-Kate and Ashley fans at? You know what I mean? I'm talking back to the VHS days, their birthday party series. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. We used to rent them from Blockbuster to watch them. They were everything in my childhood. My sisters and I were obsessed with them. I wanted a twin so bad that I used to pretend my stepsister and I were twins because we're the same age, except she's a really short blonde girl with blue eyes and we look absolutely nothing alike, but we would dress the same and we would tell people that we're twins. No one bought it, obviously. This story came April 11th, 2025. My stomach is grumbling so loud. Chill out. I literally just fed you like an hour ago. Relax. Even my stomach is dramatic. Usually a lurker, but something happened tonight that has me incredibly confused. Backstory. I'm the eldest of 4 sisters. We stair-stepped 2 years apart. I'm Meg, 38. Joe is 36. Beth is 34. And Amy is 32. That is so fun. I love having sisters. Our parents used to joke about how they kept trying for a boy, but finally gave up after girl number 4. Not gonna lie, it hurt our feelings a little, especially Amy, but they stopped that and assured us that they wouldn't change anything. Every one of us has at least one daughter. I am the only sister that has a son. At 17, he's the eldest grandchild, and I'm fairly certain he's my dad's favorite person in the world. They are best friends. It's adorable. So my dad had 3 daughters with my mom in their first marriage. And he always told us when we were being bad, he's like, I will trade all 3 of you girls in for 1 boy. And we'd be like, no. Okay, now that you have the backstory and family history, let's talk about tonight. My son, who is very intelligent and absolutely crushed high school, recently received his acceptance letter to a pretty prestigious university. Full ride. We are incredibly proud. My folks wanted to throw him a little congratulatory party, and tonight worked for all of our schedules, which is no small feat. 4 different families with 11 kids between them. So we all headed to my folks' house for pizza and cake. At one point, Amy brought up that it is a sibling appreciation day, and Mom said that she wanted all of her girls to say what we appreciate about our sisters, and we go youngest to eldest, which most of the compliments going to me, as I was kind of a second mom to them. I told each of my sisters how much I loved them, among other things, and then finished my speech by saying something like, and I really appreciate that we didn't have any gross boys stinking up our house. All of us but Beth and her husband laughed. Beth's eyes got really big, and her husband, Chase, looked at me like I was something he scraped off the bottom of his shoe. Suddenly he says, that's pretty effed up. I said something like, I don't know, Chase, I've smelled you after your workouts. It's pretty bad. And he got even more mad and said, how could you talk about Tyler like that? And Beth starts losing her mind, guys. She's grabbing him by the arm and begging him to hush, saying they need to go home now, etc. So naturally, I'm like, who is Tyler? Well, friends, apparently, Tyler is Beth's twin that passed during childbirth. Huh?
I'm just so confused.
And it made our folks and me so depressed that nobody is allowed to speak of him or reference him ever. Beth forbid him from ever mentioning any family member. After Chase told us this, nobody said a word. It was so damn tense. Finally, I just kind of bluntly said, I'm not sure why, but Beth lied to you about this. I think you guys should talk about it, but I don't want to hear anything else about this tonight, as we are here to celebrate my son. After that, Beth burst into tears and ran into her old bedroom, with Chase Mom and Joe following her. The party never fully recovered and they took off pretty shortly after that. I stayed behind to help clean and so my dad and my son could hang out some more. While I'm doing the dishes, my mom scolded me pretty harshly for calling Beth a liar. If the baby shoe fits, mother. My dad said I wasn't wrong, but I embarrassed Beth. What the heck was I supposed to do? I was getting chastised over a lie. Absolutely not. Beth also texted me saying that I effed her over, and a text from Chase's phone told me I was the actual liar, and everyone knows that. Amy is on my side, but she and Beth always butted heads. Joe claims she's neutral, but she also told me that I didn't have to call her out like that. What the heck was I supposed to do? Just take the lashing? And why is everyone acting like calling me out? What I consider to be a pretty heavy lie is worse than the lie itself. How do we resolve the situation? I love my sisters so darn much. They are my best friends, but this is so weird and so wrong to put on me. Now, these are some top comments on this, and OOP responded to everybody. Someone wrote, I can't imagine any other response. I really can't. Were you seriously expected to lie along with her? I think that is shocking. OP responded, I have no idea what she was expecting. I have lied to her before, but saying she's at my house while she's getting boudoir photos done for him is not the same as lying about a whole person who never existed. It is beyond bizarre. I think I said that right. I said boudoir. What did I say?
Boudoir photos.
I don't know. My brain never knows. Next comment. I'm kind of impressed that after all of that, she managed to convince her husband that you were the liar. Of course, if he still believes her, he is dumb as a brick. I'd think there is proof enough on her birth certificate as it will state she was a single birth. OP responded, I will say Chase is not a dummy and he's typically not malicious. And although nobody really backed me up about this being a lie, at least not in front of me, I think it's pretty obvious that I was telling the truth as everyone else was obviously confused and dead silent at the moment. I have not responded to the text as I'm not looking to burn bridges. I've made many mistakes and my sisters have graciously forgiven me. I'm just flummoxed and a little hurt. Flummoxed? I have never seen that word in my life.
Shocking.
Next comment. This is very weird. I'm confused as to why your parents aren't embarrassed by your sister's behavior, especially trying to keep up the lie afterwards and saying you're lying. Is she mentally okay? Does she have a history of lying? OP responded, we all lied as kids, but I assumed she grew out of it as an adult. We also all exhibited some attention-seeking behavior, but again, age appropriate, especially for a family with 4 kids and 2 parents who worked full-time. My parents are hippies and have a very much live and let live kind of vibe. But this feels icky to me, so I'm a little surprised they're not more upset about it. Then again, they never punished us in front of each other, so they could be dealing with it or planning to deal with the situation behind the scenes. Either way, Beth is way too old to be making up dead sibling stories. Yeah, I just want to know the reasoning why. I'm very intrigued. Next comment. Your sister dug herself a weird hole, is now mad she has to dig herself out of it, and is placing that anger on you for accidentally handing her the shovel. If she wants to blame anyone for being caught in a lie, she can look in the mirror. How can you fix it? Your sister has to pull her head out of her arse and apologize for putting you all in that position, and then you can think about apologizing for being blunt about it. But to be honest, I don't feel you did anything wrong here. You had no idea what was going on, why you were being accused of being a bad person, and literally just wanted to focus back on your son's achievements. It's not like you accidentally spilled the secret you were supposed to keep. Your sister created this entire mess and should probably explain to you guys why she did it. And me, please, because I need to know. OP responded, I appreciate your input and kind words. I don't like drama, so I find it best to just kind of stop it in its tracks. And my son, we recently got an autism diagnosis, what was formerly referred to as Asperger's, and it's really messed with his head a little. He's always been so bad socially and really struggled making friends. As a result, his cousins got the bulk of the attention. He was really proud of himself, and I wanted him to remember this little get-together because it was all about him for once. As it should be! What an accomplishment. Next comment. Your sister is a freak weirdo. Okay, well, that's aggressive. Making up a dead twin for what? Sympathy? Attention? She effed up and everyone knows it. Why anyone would want to cover up her lie is beyond me. She made her bed, let her deal with the repercussions of this outrageous lie. Question though, did or have your parents tried to set the record straight with her idiot hubby, or are they staying silent about this alleged twin baby that never existed? Interesting. I'm wondering that too, because if husband is still believing and calling you a liar, couldn't your parents just say like, hey, so, Mom, I was the one that gave birth to her and she was a solo ride, Solo trip, ticket for one coming out. OP responded, when I told Chase that she was lying, nobody backed me up, but I believe it was kind of obvious because nobody refuted my claims. That coupled with Beth frantically trying to get her husband to leave, Chase is smart. He could put two and two together. I mentioned in another comment that our parents never really punished us, nor really got onto us in front of each other, so I would like to think they're handling things on that end behind the screens and trying to appeal to my dislike of drama and empathy to get me to forgive her. I don't find the lie unforgivable. I think it's bizarre and I don't appreciate it, but I don't think our relationship is over. I love her. I took her on her first date, took her and a boy to get ice cream and they held hands. We lied to our parents about that one. I helped take care of her when she was postpartum because Chase had to work. She's got my heart, Sisters be doing that. Even in the worst of arguments with my sisters growing up, it was like I would also do anything for them at the same time, even if I was furious. They're just my heart. Next comment. Just to be clear, you do recognize the level of this lie as a mental health disorder, right? While I am not a therapist, this is very much sounds like some strain of Munchausen's. Again, not a therapist, just therapy adjacent in training and work, so I have some familiarity. So get her to some professional help. This isn't just a cry for help, this is a sign of a broken brain that requires professional help and maybe even medical interventions. OP responded, I work in healthcare, not directly in the mental health field, but I am a little familiar with various disorders. I actually do think she is a hypochondriac. One of my nieces is always coming down with something, they are not, or my sister definitely has Crohn's disease. She doesn't. She won't drink milk if it's within 3 days of the Best Buy date. She refuses bread pudding because you use old bread to make them. Won't eat brownies I bake from scratch the day before because they're old. So I know she's got some issues, but hey, we all have issues. I'm pretty emotionally closed off except to my spouse and children. Some people think that makes me a B word. I try not to be too judgmental because I'm definitely not perfect, but I'm judging the F out of this. Do you guys think this is more serious and it is something to do with mental health? Or do you think like maybe in the moment within the relationship, she just came up with this lie and then just had to stick to it because she couldn't not. I need to know. We need answers. How did this come about? How did this lie form? Luckily, we have some updates, so hopefully we'll get some clarity. But first, let's hydrate. We're hopping on. All aboard hydration station. Cheers. All right, so we have an update that came the next day. Okay, I think we have some answers regarding the events that occurred last night. I just wanted to answer some things quick before the update. Your parents named you after Little Women. This is probably partially to blame for the fake comments. These are just placeholder names that I used as there are 4 sisters in that novel. My parents are hippies and gave us some pretty noticeable names. If I used our real ones, on the off chance any of our friends read this, they would know immediately that this was our family. I caught on to that in the beginning, but I'm like, hey, maybe their parents genuinely named them after the 4 sisters and Little Women. Number 2, Beth is continuing to lie and Chase is believing it, and your mom and Joe threw you under the bus too. In regards to Chase, I think he knew I was being truthful. Also, I said the text came from his phone. I was thinking that Beth sent it, as that's not Chase's vibe. About Mom and Joe, they didn't throw me under the bus, but I'll go into more detail soon. Number 3, is it possible my mom had twins and I just forgot or didn't know about the passing? Absolutely not. I was at all of my sister's births. I don't remember Joe's, but I do remember Beth and Amy's, and there were no multiples, no passings, no funerals, no depression. 4, the birth certificate will prove it. It sure would, yes, but I'm not able to try to strong arm my sister into showing her husband her birth certificate. Number 5, your sister is mentally ill as the golden child and you're the scapegoat. I'm not about to say my sister is sick, but I do think she has some issues, as we all do. There's no golden child and scapegoat in this family. My parents were and are really good about treating us all fairly and equally. Number 6, you could have and should have been more tactful and pulled her aside and not called her a liar. Had I known that Tyler was my deceased brother, I never would have asked who he was. Chase and I tease each other a lot, and I honestly thought he was going to come out with some kind of funny joke, like something like D's nuts. Really never thought I'd read that in this story. In regards to my lack of tact, I don't know. I think it's pretty lacking in tact to make up a whole dead sibling. And really, facts are facts. She lied, and that's that. The night was about my son, so I squashed the issue and chose to move forward, hoping to end the conversation with as little drama as possible. Okay, so now on to the update. After a night of barely sleeping and my blood pressure dangerously high, I called my mom this morning fully ready to let out an emotionally charged tirade about how I feel they unfairly threw me under the bus and took Beth's side when she objectively did the worst thing. My mom answered the phone apologizing and asked me to just listen. When she and Joe followed Beth and Chase to Beth's room, Mom did tell Chase that Tyler was not real and this is an issue between her and Chase, and that they should probably leave because she didn't want the evening ruined. She did get on to me, but it was mostly out of sympathy and empathy for Beth, and she recognized that it wasn't okay. She apologized for that. She spoke with Chase this morning and Beth, who is the one who sent me the text from Chase's phone, and finally came clean early this morning after hours of denying the lie. Something I didn't mention, as I didn't feel it was pertinent to the story, is that Beth's eldest daughter, Madison, isn't Chase's biological daughter. He's been around since Madison was 2. Also, kind of important, is that Chase is a first responder. He loves to be a hero. And he's very good in that role. He met Beth doing victim advocacy, and as such, I believe they both view him as saving Beth. This has long been speculated, but it's not exactly our place to say anything. And we all love Chase. He's an amazing person, and Beth is no dummy. She picked up on Chase's hero complex. She picked up on Chase's hero complex immediately. It appears that, in an effort to make herself look more sympathetic, vulnerable, broken, she lied about having a twin brother that passed in childbirth. I guess being in an abusive relationship and having a small child just wasn't enough. She did not have to do that. They've been together for 10 years and not once did she come clean. To me, that proves a clear pattern of deceit and manipulation. However, I'm not going to speculate on her mental health problems or reasons for not coming clean. That is for her and her husband to deal with. Neither one of them have called or texted me to apologize, and I'm honestly unsure if they will. Beth is more of the sweeping rug type, while I confront issues head-on type. I will not be cutting my sister off for this though. I love her, and at the end of the day, I just want her to be happy and healthy. I do hope this whole issue will cause her to rethink some of her life choices, and maybe she can get some therapy. I think we could all use therapy, to be honest. That's where we are right now. My mom did not offer any information about how Beth and Chase are doing, and I did not ask. It's not my business. I have not heard from Joe, but Amy and I have been texting all morning, and she is my best good friend right now and is providing a lot of support. Hopefully we can all move forward and grow together in the future. Let's see what the comments are saying to this now that we have a little more information about why she lied. Someone wrote, "I'm glad your mother apologized, but your sister really owes you and to the entire family an apology. This was a really selfish and weird thing to do. She also owes Chase and his family an apology. I hope she gets some help for this. Good luck. Next comment, your sister could probably benefit from therapy. I will never understand why people think it's a good idea to lie about something so easily disproven. Don't lie about anything and you won't have situations blown up like this. I hope she comes to her senses and apologizes to you. Next comment, I think your family needs to sit down with your sister because this isn't normal behavior at all. She lied for 10 years about a deceased brother. Y'all need to call this behavior out since she's way too old to be acting like this. And doing nothing is showing her that you guys will accept similar or the same type of behavior in the future. Next comment. Welp, this is why she continues to do this nonsense at her big ass age. No one holds her accountable. You can't move forward and grow together if people don't take accountability. All right, I'm curious to know what you guys think about all of that. I totally understand what they mean. It's true. Like, if no accountability or an apology isn't given, how do you just sweep that under the rug like it's no big deal? That's a big deal. All right, we have a final update, and it came very recently, 5 months after, September 21st, 2025. So this is where we all ended up on the situation. Well, a lot has happened in past months. I read all your comments multiple times and I heard you. I faced some very hard truths about my family and our dynamics, but mostly I grieved. About a month after I made my original post, oh no, my dad passed away. Oh no. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. It was very unexpected, massive stroke. The worst part was mom was out of town, so dad passed alone. My son talked to him that same day. They made plans for the next week, and then my dad was gone. That's actually so heartbreaking. It's been a very hard few months. I started therapy mostly to deal with navigating life without dad, but my therapist made a lot of good points about my family dynamic. Mostly that I was parentified and a people pleaser, that keeping the peace comes at a price. And that price was my needs being put on the back burner. And as a result, I keep people at an arm's length because of this. And I'll be damned if she wasn't right. So let's rewind a little. During the week or so after dad passed, mom was lost. They've been married over 40 years, so no surprise there. And as the eldest sibling, I stepped up big time. Joe and I already knew a little about our parents' end-of-life wishes, and we chose to go forward with cremation. Mom agreed. This is her wish as well, as did Amy. But guess who didn't? If you guessed Beth, you would be right. She just had a complete meltdown, wailing over how she couldn't stand the thought and will not allow it, and blah, blah, blah. This is probably the first instance of me shutting her ass down. I told her, in no uncertain terms, that this wasn't her choice, and it was our father's preference, and it was happening regardless. Next, she was wandering through the house, trying to pick out stuff she wanted, before my mom even gave us her blessing. When she started, mom asked her to please stop, let her sort through some stuff first, and then she would give a yes or no. When Beth asked what she needed to sort out, mom mentioned dad's watch collection. There was one specifically for my son, and when Beth inquired as to which one, mom refused to answer. Beth insisted that wasn't fair. She should have first pick, blah, blah, blah. Mom and Joe apparently shut that down with a quickness. I wasn't there, but my son is now wearing the first luxury watch my dad ever bought, and he is so proud. Don't worry though, all the grandkids have something special. Next, she got absolutely plastered at his end-of-life ceremony, went around wailing and making literally the whole thing about her grief and how her wishes weren't respected. And before I could snap, and believe me, I was this close, Chase dragged her out of the venue, and I'm not sure what happened, but when they got home, police were called. Beth was arrested, and my niece ended up with my mom for the night. Oh my gosh. My brother-in-law did have some bruises, oh gosh, to back him up. Despite Beth calling us, nobody bailed her out. We are just done with it. She did get released and only ended up with some community service and a fine. Chase was more than willing to do therapy with her, but she started drinking even more, and as a result is being more aggressive with both him and the kids. There was another situation, and long story short, Chase is divorcing her and petitioning for full custody. He has asked us to write letters on his behalf, and I believe all of us are going to do so. I don't know what is going on with my sister, but she's on a downward spiral and it's sad to see. She refuses to speak with anyone and I am done trying. I've already decided to cut her off after all the BS at my dad's end of life ceremony, and this solidified it. I won't be updating again. I'm washing my hands of all of this. I hope my sister gets help, but it'll take a lot of work and she's never been one to want to put in the work. I'm putting myself first for once and concentrating on my children, my husband, and myself. Gotta get your thoughts on this, you guys. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy.